Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to Game 2 of this best of 3. It is from the HP Trophy 2 and well, let me introduce these two players. In the top right position, we do of course have the yellow Zerg. It is VortiX, and in the lower left, we have the orange Protoss player. It is AiReaL. These two have already duked it out in Game 1 where VortiX managed to take it with a massive amount of Broodlords. But all in all, it was a very interesting strategy VortiX went for. We did not see the standard, which is of course going pull hatch hatch. Instead we saw pull hatch into a gas, then into 4 gas in order to get infestors out very quick lair, and all in all VortiX was not playing by the normal rulebook, and that maybe knocked AiReaL a little bit off guard, who instead went for some Phoenix out early. He went for a bit of a 2-base play, got the double robotics facility as well, off of the 2-base to get a lot of Colossi out, but of course VortiX, he was happily able to deal with it all, and then a final push came with a lot of Colossi, a couple of Archons, and a huge number of charge lots into VortiX's 4th, but AiReaL, he was able to defend it, he was able to hold it well, and so here we are. VortiX, 1 game up after with the counter attack of Broodlords, and we are in Entombed Valley. So, what does Entombed have in store? Well, the 3rd base for Zerg isn't a massive problem to take. It's a little bit more awkward than you see on some maps just due to these rocks and the fact that there's 2 entrances can make things a little bit difficult. But if you are going to push in here as a Protoss player, it's a big commitment because you can get trapped, so that's one thing we may see. The other thing, which is obviously very strong on this map, is drop style play due to the ability to exploit this cliff area and the fact there's a big distance between. Airplay can also have some scope due to the fact that 3rd and also the natural is exposed by some dead space. So Phoenix again are viable, so we'll wait and see whether AiReaL chooses to do that. VortiX though, he's got to start thinking about, hang on, was I taking a couple too many risks in Game 1? Am I going to go for the more standard pull hatch hatch? Am I going to try and just macro up? Because that's really where I won the last game. We'll wait and see. Obviously though, from AiReaL, having to go Forge first in this map, Protoss players, you can't go Nexus first unless you're willing to take a huge risk, just due to how large this ramp is, and you can't really defend it any easier if you go diagonal. As a result, you need that cannon down sooner, you need the Forge down sooner, and for Zerg players, because of that, always be concerned, what if my opponent cannon rushes me? That is one thing you have to watch out for, and it's one thing that this probe is always going to be risky about. He's running around down there, but is rallied to go back home, so no need for VortiX to panic too much, and VortiX yet again choosing to go for that pull hatch gas style play. And I mentioned this in Game 1, I really don't feel that it did very much for VortiX. He wasn't able to put on any pressure, wasn't able to really deal any damage, and instead just had a much lower drone count. The only advantage it really gave was getting those infestors out so much sooner, which did allow him to force a cancel of the 3rd, but that alone I don't think warranted the fact that at the 11-minute mark he was only about 120-130 supply, where he could have achieved just the same results had he chosen to go for an 11-minute max out with Roach Ling. And looking here, the Roach were on at a very early time yet again here for VortiX, so perhaps we're going to be seeing more aggression. He hasn't gone for Zergling speed yet, so that's just due to them not having enough gas. Waiting to see if he is going to get Zergling speed out, or instead if he's just going to pump all the gas into a Roach Rush, which is a viable option on this map. You know this wall is quite vulnerable. We do have the supply depot getting taken down here by the photon cannon, because why on earth not? You may as well. And looking here, we're over 100 gas. VortiX isn't the sort of player who make the mistake and just forget to make it, so definitely going to be a Roach Rush coming straight out now. So this is something that could catch AiReaL off guard. Looking at the scouting information, there's no idea about the Roach one or about the gas, or even if the 3rd base is down or not, so that's a problem in itself. There is still, yet again, for VortiX, the Zergling sitting at the 3rd base. I think that's a great choice. This one Zealot on its way over, but that Zealot is going to have no fun at all. He's going to have less fun than watching paint dry, because he's going to die. He's going to die a horrible, horrible death. We see, of course, the Roaches are now completing. They're going to be coming out. They're going to be smashing through this Zealot, which is going up to the 3rd base, being like, I'm going to harass your 3rd, and there's no 3rd there. So this Zealot, he had one job. He was psyched. He was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this, and now doesn't see anything. Isn't going to see the Roaches either. So that in itself is going to be a bit of a problem, because AiReaL is now completely unaware that anything's coming. He's like, oh, I'm all fine. See some Zerglings. I'm like, oh, there's some Zerglings. That's a bit of a pain. No worries though, because I've got a wall off. And in about 3 seconds, he's suddenly going to realise, oh, There's roaches at my base. This is a problem. The sentry's there. The force field's going to have to go down very quickly, but the sentry already taking a lot of damage. The force field does hit, though, just in time. Of course, that cannon is going to take a lot of damage, and now Real has got to not panic. He's got to just get down precisely the right things. Connor boosting out the Immortal. That's exactly what he needs. Getting the double cannon up, ready for this. He's bringing all the probes. He needs to try and delay this a little bit. Unfortunately, those probes not able to do too much there. Trying to just form a wall, trying to keep the roaches down in the natural by those cannons. That's the only option. But as we see, so many more Zerglings streaming in, so many probes going down, already 18 killed. This is almost certainly going to be a good game right now. I mean, I don't see any way the Real is going to come back from this. He does get the Immortal out just in time, but an Immortal against that many roaches and lings is not going to work too well. And there is the GG straight away. And yeah, VortiX 2-0. So, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Of course, make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you tomorrow for yet another new cast. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.